You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. The ChrisVossShow.com. My voice is giving out, ladies and gentlemen. 2 to 3 shows a day, or weekday, 4 to 5, 10 to 15 shows a week. I'm losing it, people. It's Friday. And so I'm just cracking up here we're just coming back into the atmosphere, and the shuttle's just cracking up as we do it. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate you guys being part of the show, because without it, we'd just be sitting here talking to ourselves into mics, which is, I don't know, something to do on a Friday. So there you go. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a family that loves you and doesn't judge you. But part of the deal is, part of the gig is, part of the obligation. There's a small obligation. The show is free, but the small obligation is please refer the show to your friends, neighbors, relatives, dogs, cats. Get everybody you know. I want you to go down to the street. I sound like that guy from the Network movie. I want you to go down to the street, open your windows, and scream, "I'm not going to take it anymore." No, don't do that. I want you to go down with a cardboard sign and hold it on Fifth Avenue saying, "Subscribe to the Chris Voss Show or else." Don't do that. That sounds like something's going to end up in trouble. But refer the show to your friends. And it's so easy. You don't have to do that. You can just call your friends and say, "Hey, subscribe to the Chris Voss Show." See you. Bye. There you go. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and Chris Voss 1. I probably said 1 twice there, and I don't care because it's Friday. We have an amazing guest on the show, and I'm excited to have her. We've been bantering back and forth with lots of energy in the green room, and so you're going to be excited as well, because if you're not, folks, then don't make me come back there, just like your dad used to say with the car. We have Sara Webb on the show with us today. She's a meditation coach, author, speaker, and spiritual activist, and she's going to be joining us to talk about all of her wonderful things. I'm excited to hear about this because I've been talking and thinking a little bit to myself. There's a lot of talking between the 7 personalities. There's that one that says kill, kill, kill too, and Judge says we can't talk to him anymore, or he can't talk to us. One of the two. He has a restraining order.
One of them's holding the sign on the corner. I saw him.
There's I think there's another one. That's a new one we just added today. So but anyway, I've been listening to a lot of Sam Harris, and he's had a few meditation people on, and now we do. So we're gonna one up him by having Sara Webb on the show with us today. Now she teaches successful leaders with closet anxiety to take back control of their lives by teaching them to relax. Don't do it when you got it. Oh wait, that's a different song. She's going to teach them to relax so they can have more energy, focus, and doing what's important. She empowers clients with her high functioning anxiety to find, let me recut that. Sara empowers clients with high functioning anxiety to find their inner resources, their power within. She teaches pocket-sized techniques to process stress, improve daily happiness, and bring back the best versions of themselves to their own lives. Welcome to the show, Sara. How are you?
Thank you so much. I am smiling, thriving. I am choosing happiness every single moment. How about
you go. I need to tattoo that on my arm. I'm choosing happiness every day. So welcome to the show. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs, please.
Thank you. You can find me at Sara Webb Says. That's SarawebBsays. That's also my Instagram handle, Sara Webb Says.
There you go. Sara Webb Says. I love it. And does you have a second site that says Sara Webb Says or else? I don't know.
That's right.
Or else.
There's got to be a thread in there.
Yeah, there's got to be a thread.
Meditate or else.
Meditate or else. No one gets hurt if you just act responsibly. I guess the or else is the callback joke for the show this time. So Sara, give us a 30,000 overview of who you are, what you do, and what you do for your clients.
I'm passionate about meditation, which might sound like an oxymoron, but I am passionate because meditation saved my life.
Mm.
It saved me from myself. I didn't know for years that I had and still have high functioning anxiety. And that's not something you're going to find in the DSM. You'll find generalized anxiety.
Mhm.
But high functioning anxiety is a very specific kind of anxiety. And we typically suffer in silence. We end up incredibly successful. We seem very confident on the outside. We are leaders. We're overachievers. But we suffer from a heavy dose of perfectionism.
Mm.
We tend to have that itty bitty shitty committee in between our ears, lots of self-doubt. We end up taking on too much because we have trouble saying no to people. And we've set a standard for everybody expecting so much out of us. So we take on, we say yes when we mean no, we say no when we mean yes, and then we end up overwhelmed and in the hospital like I did at the young age of 28. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Mhm.
And I very calmly walked over to my colleague's office and said, "Excuse me, I think I'm having a heart attack. Can you please drive me to the emergency room?" Of course, she called 911 and I got the siren ride all the way to the hospital.
Nice.
And that doctor 15 years ago said, "You should try meditation."
Wow.
It took me another 7 years to find the kind of meditation that worked for me.
Mhm.
So that's why I do what I do, because I really want to help people to be able to, first of all, combat the high functioning anxiety, but also to try every single kind of meditation out there and to find the kind that works for them, because meditation has been scientifically proven to reduce blood pressure, reduce pain, increase pain tolerance. It improves memory. It improves focus. It improves happiness. I mean, there's literally no side effects to meditation. In fact, a lot of leaders, some of my clients are like, "I don't have time to meditate," because they're focused on productivity. Studies show that when we take time out of our day to meditate, productivity increases by 120%.
Wow.
It's a no-brainer.
We don't spend enough time just contemplating the universe. We're always busy with all of our noises, right? Our phones and everything else.
Well, yeah, and so many leaders are focused on self-optimization. They want to improve themselves. But how much time have they actually spent with themselves? They're focused on these people out here and these new gadgets and let me go to this new guru or whatever. But if you just get quiet and listen within, it's possible to have these things dropped inside your head. I mean, let's say that you are incredibly religious. I mean, I tell my people who go to church every single Sunday, well, prayer is talking to God, but meditation is listening. And the reason why we can actually listen is highly scientific. So we have 11 million sensory receptors in our bodies. 10 million out of our 11 million sensory receptors are attached to our sight. We also have billions of bits of data all around us. And our human brain processes around 11 million bits per second, which sounds incredible. But we're only conscious of between 40 and 50 of those 11 million bits, not 40 or 50,000. So 11 million bits per second coming into our brains. We're conscious of about 45 of those bits. I did the math. That means we're conscious of 0.04% of reality. 99.96% of all the information that's coming into our brains, coming into our bodies, is coming into the subconscious.
Wow.
So if we can just shut off 10 million of our 11 million sensory receptors and spend a little time with our bodies, with our brains, with ourselves, then we can have access to that 99.96% of information. That's why we get gut feelings. That's how we know things without actually knowing it logically. So meditation is that key that can help a lot of leaders become successful.
There you go. And that totally makes sense. So you went on a journey after being diagnosed with high functioning anxiety, and you said it took you 7 years to dial in the right meditation. So were you trying different variations of meditation at that time and nothing was clicking?
Right. I would go to a yoga studio and try some sort of guided meditation, or I would sign up for a Deepak Chopra online course, or I would go to a place where they do Zen meditation, and just nothing really resonated. It felt really hard. And that's the reason why I've become a meditation coach. I mean, I love working with people individually and finding the kind of things that resonate for them. I was a high school teacher years and years ago, and then I taught finance to adults, and I have a 7-year-old, so I've been teaching her. And meditation has always been my passion. I actually learned to meditate when I was 5 months pregnant. And the thing, I hired a meditation coach and learned from a private coach, just like I am right now. And the thing that was so fascinating is that at 5 months pregnant, just meditating for 20 minutes twice a day, my emotions all smoothed out.
Oh, really?
My ex-husband was like astounded. He's like, where did you get that? Where can I sign up? Where is this meditation coach? You are a different person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I was taking time, and I had a really beautiful birthing experience because I used meditation leading up to it and during. Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is a breakthrough for women if they can
some
get
of it
for everybody.
There comes a point when the pain is so intense, but leading up to it, I mean, my ex was like, are you sure you're in labor? You're really, really calm. Like, this can't be. And I was transitioning at the time. And, by the time we got to the birthing center, it was a different story. But
I do imagine there's, give me that epidural, damn it. Anyway.
Oh, no epidural. I did it all. I was a hero.
Oh, really? Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I get one on Fridays just for fun. So there you go. It helps roll into the weekend. I have one after the show, I guess. Technically where I'm going. So when you coach your clients and you're teaching them about meditation, do you just pretty much pitch the meditation form that works for you, or do you recommend do you try and figure out what types of meditation might be good for them and what might be applicable and then steer them that way?
Both. It's a yes and. I have a number of different methodologies depending on the module that we're on. And if some people, like, for example, if they're coming to me with high blood pressure or any kind of heart palpitation or anything cardiovascular, there are certain types of meditation that we shouldn't do. So we really try on all of the safe aspects. But if someone is a high-powered leader, they're incredibly healthy, then we can really go for the gusto and try some of the more advanced techniques that I personally utilize in my meditation now, almost 8 years from a daily practice. So I've been meditating for a long time, and I've gone to a lot of different meditation retreats, been trained in a lot of different modalities. I've been a yogi for over 20 years, and I do teach yoga on the side just because it's a lot of fun. So sometimes if a client comes to me and they're really wanting to get back into yoga, I might throw in one of those sessions for them, because I always tell my clients, if you're having trouble sitting still, movement is a really great way to just get out the wiggles. I say sit down sweaty. I mean, you can put down a towel, but if you sit down sweaty, you'll usually have a lot better time being able to focus, although we really don't have to focus. Most of the modalities that I offer have some sort of an anchor. So whether that's the breath or a mantra, you can call it an affirmation, something that we can kind of lightly focus. We hold it very lightly, but that allows the brain to kind of do whatever it wants. And then you have this anchor that ties you to right now. And then you might realize, oh, I'm not focusing on my breath anymore. And you just gently bring yourself back. And that's where the magic happens. When we just sit and turn within, that's where we turn that downward spiral into an inward spiral, and we can create our own magic.
There you go. And do you mostly work with CEOs, CXOs, and entrepreneurs usually, or do you work with anybody?
I have taken some people who are incredibly motivated and do suffer from high functioning anxiety. I tend to attract a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, and yes, CXOs of all kinds, managers in big companies, Fortune 100s, because a lot of times they hear my message and maybe their spouse doesn't even know that they have anxiety. And I start talking about high functioning anxiety, which is a newer term. It's like we live in this fast-paced world, right? We're on the beach and people are emailing us and text messaging us. It's like we don't know how to turn it off. And most people think it's totally normal. And that was me. I thought I just have stress and this is totally normal. But when I found out that I actually have a condition, I was like, oh my gosh. And I actually found out what high functioning anxiety was after I had majorly remediated a lot of the issues, because the anxiety doesn't go away, right? It's just, what do we do with it? That's the key.
There you go. And how does the human body process stress? Why is it screwing us up with all the stress that we feel in life?
The human body is ancient as far as from a genealogical perspective. You think about hunters and gatherers. We go into a stressful situation that is thrown upon us. We go into that fight or flight. Maybe we have to fight a tribes person or flee from a saber-toothed tiger or a jaguar. Well, today, we don't really have very many life or death situations. I mean, some people might argue that Thanksgiving dinner with their mother-in-law feels like a life-threatening situation, but it's really just our body that's telling us that we feel like this is something that we can't handle. So our ancient physiology takes things like our spouse or our kids or sitting in traffic or deadlines, whether they be from the outside or self-imposed, and turns it into this situation where we literally can't breathe because our ancient physiology has made it such that when we go into fight or flight, we begin chest breathing. We're only breathing from this part of our chest, which means our brain is not functioning. Now, if you actually have to fight or flee, that's fantastic, because then we've got blood and oxygen going to our extremities so that we can fight or flee. But when we're in a stressful situation in modern life, we need to breathe. We need to oxygenate our brain, our heart, our cells, so that we can actually respond to the situation at hand with what my grandma used to call a full set, where your head and your heart and your feet are all in the same place. So often our head is in that catastrophic thinking. We're thinking about how we're going to lose this client's business, and then this thing is going to happen. Then all of a sudden in our brains, we're homeless. And then our heart is perhaps in a past traumatic situation, whether that's big T trauma or little t trauma. And our feet are here. So if we can do that full set check, like my grandma used to say, just make sure your head, your heart, and your feet are all in the same place, and then you're good to go. So you got to try those grounding techniques, that basic okayness that everyone talks about.
Okay.
Once you get past that, then you can employ some of these simple techniques like just belly breathing or box breathing. And these things are scientifically proven to slow down our physiology and allow us to relax, allow our nervous system to reset. When we go, this is how people end up with autoimmune diseases, because they haven't allowed their nervous system. Yeah, their nervous system goes into overdrive and their immune system attacks their immune system, because when we're under fight or flight, our immune system is suppressed. It's not safe to rest and digest and repair because we're in fight or flight.
There you go. I wonder if the same thing happens with people who have asthma. There's been said that a lot of people that have asthma have distressing childhoods or have anxiety childhoods. You know, their parents are alcoholics or other things like that. And I don't know if it really damages the lungs, but there's a mentality to it, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. I wonder if that might be also a thing. But I
read a book by James Nestor. It's called Breath. And he talks about specifically sleep apnea. When we are mouth breathers or tend to breathe in and out of the mouth and instead of in and out of the nose. So when we breathe in and out of the mouth, our lungs can't be as effective as when we breathe in and out of the nose. And so I have a client who didn't really know that she was a mouth breather, and working with me, she has started breathing from the nose, and she has vastly more energy just because of the simple 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day that we're doing with in and out of the nose. Because when we breathe in and out of the nose, our lungs are about 99% efficient. That book by James Nestor is fascinating. I'd love for you to have him on the show. It's
that'd be interesting.
Pretty recently written book. And oh my gosh, it's so fascinating. The things that happen when we are breathing out of our mouth versus our nose. He participated in a study that he funded himself, where he plugged up his nose for 2 weeks straight, and they did all the vital signs every single day. Really fascinating stuff. So I think that asthma is absolutely a correlation there. I'd have to go back to the book because it's been several months since I read it, but I think you're onto something there. Yeah.
Yeah. We pitched him to come on the show. Yeah.
Really?
We might have missed. Sometimes if we don't, you have to get them just 2 or 3 months before the launch of the book, so that you're on the tour. And I think we missed them, or no, this was. I don't think we missed them. I think this was. Maybe we missed them on the paperback relaunch, but I'll reach out to him, see if it can come on the show. But you know what's interesting about what you're talking about is that sleep apnea thing. I had a joke there somewhere. What was the joke? Oh yeah, on Tinder and first dates, I get called a mouth breather a lot too. So I'm used to hearing that. But have you heard these things where people put this tape over their mouth now when they sleep? There's like this sleep tape you can put over your mouth so you don't mouth breathe when you sleep. You heard of that?
He may have popularized that, because that is
is
the
that from him?
methodology that he found when he did 2 weeks of plugging the nose, and then 2 weeks of covering the mouth, and except for eating. And he found that simple tape was the best way to keep his mouth shut, so that he, during sleep, only breathed through his nose, because his sleep apnea, which he already had, and all of the vital symptoms that come along with it, plummeted. Like his sleep apnea went up and all of his vitals went down when he started breathing only through the mouth. And it's what's caused humans to have messed up teeth, because of the change in our face physiologically. Seriously, it's the reason for orthodontists. I swear to you, read the book. You'll be.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, I've had dry mouth, where you wake up and you're like, your mouth is like sand because you've been breathing on it for so long.
It's the soft palate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe I'll buy those. My mom and everybody I know has got those damn machines, the Darth Vader masks, I call them. And I'm not a fan. Do you use one? I
don't. I just do breath work.
There you go. So you don't have to. You're just like, I did it today. I don't have to sleep with the Darth Vader vest on at night.
I do Wim Hof. I do other kinds of intense breath work, and it's amazing. It increases the alkalinity in your body.
Oh, really? Oh, really? So I don't have to drink all this alkaline water that I'm always drinking.
I do that too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I feel so bad now. But God, you do all this breathing, man. This fancy breathing. I feel like I'm some sort of beginner, eh? Like I'm just some amateur breather.
Well, our breath is our life force. That's what the yogis, they interchanged the word prana and breath. And if you think about it, like that's what defines life. When we come into this world, we take a breath, and if we stop breathing, I mean, we can survive for weeks without food, a few days without water, but only a few minutes without our breath.
Yeah.
It is our life force. And when we change our breath, studies show unequivocally that changing your breath pattern will change the way that you process things, the way that you think, your health, your immunity. There are literally breaths that you can do out there to boost your immunity. Some of them are contraindicated if you have certain criteria, like health concerns, and that's why I ask that whenever I work with somebody.
There you go. I mean, I might try that breath tape. I actually looked at one of my friends on Facebook turned me onto it, and probably had read that gentleman's book, and I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I know how I breathe at night, and I'm like, I'm a bear as a human being. Anyway, when I get up in the morning, I wander around, and like no one should get near me because, you say something to me and you're getting a pawed, and then you're gonna miss something a lib, and it's like every girlfriend I've ever had has been like, we stay away from you until you've had your coffee, and we do not mess with you. We just take a wide berth around you and let you do your thing, and then somewhere after about 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, I'm sociable, and I can talk to people without having murder on the mind. But I should try that. But the only thing I'm worried about when I saw it and I contemplated, I looked it up on Amazon, was I'm like, I'm gonna end up swallowing one of those things. Like it'll come like halfway off, and I'll go in my sleep, and then it'll go right down the thing, and then I don't know,
asphyxiate completely, and
I'll choke to death, or I don't know, which might.
So in order to make yourself more healthy, you've actually killed yourself. Right?
Most of my exes were testing my ability to breathe by putting a pillow over my face at night when I slept. So there was that. There's a lot of X jokes in this show. So lots of good stuff that you do here. What are some other things in your work and some of the ways you've helped clients and things that kind of stand out from what you do, opposed to maybe some other people that you've seen in the business?
Well, I focus on the science. I'm not a scientist. and I'm not a doctor, but I read a lot, and I absolutely love employing techniques that are scientifically proven.
Mhm.
And I mean, we know that we're only aware of 0.04% of reality. And we know that we have something called the reticular activating system that's
Mhm.
constantly looking for whatever we're focusing on,
Yeah.
right? In yoga, we say where focus goes, energy flows. And
Mhm.
that sounds really cute and woo-woo, but it's actually scientifically true. So all of the techniques that I employ with anyone, there's a study that goes behind it. And it's not just meditation. We were talking about the personal gratitude practice that I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
For 3.5 years, I've been making a gratitude list. My brother was my very first gratitude partner. I started making a gratitude list on my own. I sent it out to a few people via text, and he said, I love this. Let's do it together, and let's set a criteria of 5 things every day. And then one of my
Oh.
friends in short order challenged me, and they said, how about 10 things and 10 people? I now have 15 gratitude partners, and we merely text one another our lists every single day. And sometimes there are affirmations or goals, things we're trying to bring into our lives. And sometimes it's just a simple list. You know, I'm grateful I didn't have to go to a laundromat today. I'm grateful for quality time. Seriously, I have a
Yeah.
washer and dryer in my home.
Yeah.
And do you know how many billion people wash their clothes in the river
Yeah.
and hang it up on a clothesline? Billions of people today. And we have major first world problems.
I do that
And
now.
you do just for fun
Oh my
with a
God.
washboard and everything. I can
I
see
do.
you
Yeah. I've
doing
got
like
the
this.
old, I remember my old great grandmother. I used to have my great grandmother alive at the same time I was. And we went to her house in West Virginia, and she had the roller for the washing,
Wow.
the big tub and the roller. And then she had the washboard and stuff. We used to play with it. Yeah.
My grandma did have that too. And
Yeah.
but she really wasn't using it anymore. I don't know, maybe she was a hoarder
Yeah.
or
Mine
something.
wasn't.
She just
It was in her yard in West Virginia, along with the still in the outhouse. So it was pretty novel.
Yeah, West Virginia is a place. I'm from Louisiana, and
There you go.
they're similar states,
There
West
you go.
Virginia and Louisiana.
I'm
Mhm.
hungry now for crawfish and
All right.
food and everything else.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
isn't it delicious?
Oh yeah, red beans and rice and
Oh,
all right. Now I'm getting hungry. All right,
mhm.
we're off topic now. So let's get back on topic. So it's good that you guys have this gratitude list. I'm really fascinated by it. You brought it up in the green room, and as you mentioned, I have a gratitude Sunday, and it's on my Google Calendar. It says Gratitude Sunday, Idiot Boy. Remember, it doesn't say that Idiot Boy, probably, but that's how I think of it in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be gratitude today. I should be thankful for that. Whatever. I'm being funny. But I like the daily thing because, throughout the week, you get caught in a daily thing. Sometimes you have a moment where you're like, oh man, that hurts. Or, you're like, oh, what happened? Something catches on fire. You get some
Yeah.
email, somebody's, you're like, this person's an idiot. You get on Facebook, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
everybody here is an idiot. No, that's not
Oof.
true. I love all my Facebook friends. You turn on the news. Oh my God, the whole world's an idiot, which is
Yeah.
pretty much true.
Mhm.
But I like the gratitude thing. And so when you send each other a text, it's a list of 5 things that you're happy for today. Is that what I understand it correctly?
My brother is still my gratitude partner. He and his
Mhm.
partner, we're in a little gratitude group,
Mhm.
and they usually stick to the 5 things,
Uh-huh.
but I tend to put more depending
do you?
on the day. I
You're an
do.
overachiever then, with the
I
gratitude.
am, and it just flows
There you
so
go.
easily. And sometimes there are things that repeat, but when you get really granular and specific, then your reticular activating system continues to look for very specific things that you're grateful
Mhm.
for. And I live in a state of gratitude now. In fact, when something shitty happens, Chris, I'm just like, oh, look at this amazing thing that I get to choose differently. This is so amazing. It looks, but you know that they've done studies where people go on vacations and some calamity happens, and then
Mhm.
the people actually look back on that potentially stressful situation as something that they reminisce about with a lot of glee. And so if we can just in the moment, and this has taken a lot of years of practice, just in the moment say, oh, look at this amazing thing that I get to learn from. Because
Yeah.
we're not going to learn unless it's hard. It's just like when we work out in the gym. It's only stressing the muscle, literally ripping the muscle open. That's what makes it grow.
Yeah, it's really painful when it happens, but as
Right?
long as it's not a permanent injury, you're fine. That's really what I'm up to at the gym, ripping and tearing. I used to do a little bit of that. I would come home every night with stories of what all the hundreds of employees had done, and you'd just be like, you won't believe what happened today, and you'd have like 5 or 6 stories of just stupid shit that happened in the office. You're just like, oh my God. And you get enough employees, it's just endless. Like, I don't know how somebody is the CEO of a 45,000 member company, because I'd just be like, we need to write some books on this crap or have a podcast. And bring Bob in. Hey, Bob, tell him what you did today, you moron. Tell him how you broke the copy or whatever the hell it was. But no, I like this thing.
With kids. Yeah. You celebrate the good. You celebrate the good in your life. Yeah. You celebrate the good with the employees. You praise. I mean, people have turned around their children who were allegedly these troublemakers, and they thought that they could do no good. And if you just praise the one thing that they do, people respond very positively. And our brains respond very positively too, because our brains are wired to look for problems. And that's what's kept Homo sapiens alive for thousands of years, because we scan the environment. We look for problems. What do I need to mitigate for here? And that's also, unfortunately, what we do in our daily lives. We've got this thing to complain about, this person to complain about. Oh my gosh, I've got this ailment in my body. And that's been keeping us safe, but it's really not serving us anymore.
There you go.
We have to look for and appreciate the good.
Have you thought about scaling the gratitude list thing to like a Slack channel or a Facebook group or
it's coming. Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. It'd be a great use for it. Maybe we'll use one on the show. We'll just every day, people can I don't know, I'll come on and be like, I'm thankful for my audience. So there you go. This is my first one. But this I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people I talk to, and I'm that annoying friend who sends people all the TikToks and and my friends are like, seriously, another one? Like, I'm that way. And
with the dancing people,
and anything I think is funny. And I know what all my friends' flavors are. So like my friends who are drummers, they get all the drummer jokes, and then my friends who whatever their leadership or something, so I have them categorized. So I'm not a total fucking freak, but where I'm like, we need to get a restraining order. I have some friends that I'm like, why do you keep sending me this shit? This has nothing to do with anything I'm interested in. You clearly don't know me. But no, I like this. And I think it would be a great Slack channel, might be a great app, might be a Facebook. I might steal your little idea, but I'll bring you into the group. But I like the idea of it. Because every day, the more I'm thinking of it, like you go through the day sometimes, and sometimes you just, I don't know, you get a little, you get a little down sort of attitude problem. You're like, oh God, what is this? And I'm 55 now. It's more like you wake up every day and you're like, what hurts today? It's like spin the wheel, and there you go. So any final thoughts on what you're doing, how you're doing it? I know you have some workshops too, and you have your book. Give us your final pitch as we go out on the show.
My mission in this life is to get the world to meditate. And I know that's a huge fucking mission. So I just ask people, try meditation, keep on trying it, find someone who knows what they're doing, whether it's me or another expert, a friend of yours, get an accountability partner. A coach is great for that. And just keep on trying. Because when we're perfectionists, we think that we're supposed to be great at it. And we also sit down and we're like, isn't something supposed to be happening? And we get up and we're like, oh, well, I don't know. I was supposed to like get up enlightened but we just need to do it. I mean, it's literally the Nike slogan, just sit down and do it, because meditation is not about